After 4 years of Avatar Studios existing, we have finally got an official look at what shows and movies are going to be coming out. And this might be the biggest piece of news we have ever gotten because it includes actual concept art of the upcoming movies. And it gives us an idea of what series are going to be releasing after those movies. Now, if you haven't followed Avatar as closely as I have, all of this might be just a little bit confusing to look at. Like you see Aang repeated 3 times, a bunch of different symbols, and this says content while this says shows. It's all a little weirdly worded, but that's why I'm here. I'm going to be breaking down what all of this means and everything we know about each individual series and movie. Firstly, I see everybody asking one question: is this real? And the answer is yes, this is real. And this comes from someone who did freelance work for Paramount. You can literally see the name and face of the person who uploaded this on Vimeo, and you can match their name and face to a LinkedIn profile that includes doing work for Paramount. So yeah, it's real. So now that we know it's real, let's break it down. The first thing you'll notice is that they have the Netflix series here along with the future Avatar Studios projects. Some people like to say this is fake, and they're like, why would Paramount include the Netflix series here as part of their slate? And well, the answer is pretty simple. This is a graphic made to show to third parties who want to use, make, or sell Avatar products, such as people who make t-shirts, mugs, or anything you see at the store that's Avatar branded. It's basically saying to those people, hey, look over here, look how much Avatar is coming out in the next 3 years. See, this is gonna be really big, please buy our license, we promise it'll be worth it and you'll make a ton of money. That's what they're saying here. With all that in mind, the Netflix series just makes sense to have here. These random companies buying the license to Avatar, they couldn't care less about Bryke's beef with Netflix. Basically, the Netflix series is another selling point and gives these companies licensing Avatar another date to expect a big surge in sales. Now that we've got that cleared up, let's take a look at the second thing on this list, which is the adult Aang movie, or as they're calling it here, Aang The Last Airbender. Here is the logo they're using for the movie right now. This probably isn't the finalized logo. As we know, Paramount recently filed a copyright listing to call this movie Lost Realm. One really small but cool detail you'll notice about this logo is that the order of the symbols have changed. Normally it's water, earth, fire, and air. This time it's air, water, earth, then fire. Likely because this is an Aang focused movie and Aang is an airbender, so it makes sense to have air first. Here is everything we know about the adult Aang movie, aka Lost Realm, aka Aang The Last Airbender, whatever you want to call it. Aang will be 24 in this movie and he will be voiced by Eric Nam. Toph and Aang are the same age, so of course she is also 24 and she will be voiced by Dion Kwan. Katara is 26 and will be brought to life by Jessica Matten, and our boy Sokka is 27 and he will be voiced by Roman Zaragoza. Now you may notice that there's someone missing here. Who is going to be voicing Momo? And just kidding, that leaves Zuko. We have no idea who's going to be voicing Zuko, but it's been heavily rumored that Dante Bosco was going to be reprising his role as Zuko in this movie. The villain of this movie will be voiced by Dave Bautista, but we currently have no idea what his name is or what he looks like. We also know from the copyright listing that this movie is going to be starring Steven Yeun, who was the voice of Avatar 1 in The Legend of Korra. Some people speculate that Paramount wants a name to be voicing Zuko and not Dante, so that's why they got Steven Yeun, but who knows? We don't know. I think he's here because Avatar 1's gonna be in the movie, but again, there's no official confirmation. The description of the movie reads as follows. Years following the events of the beloved original series, Avatar, a new villain threatens the future of all 4 nations. Avatar Aang must rally his friends to defeat a new villain, the likes of which they've never seen before. Directed by Lauren Montgomery, co-directed by William Mata, and starring Dave Bautista, Dion Kwan, Eric Nam, Roman Zaragoza, and Steven Yeun. The release date for this movie is January 20th, 2026, with an estimated completion date of November 2025. Next up, we have the Earth Avatar series, which had a ton of leaks last month. Here is a quick recap of what the Earth Avatar series is going to be. Also, I won't be showing the leaks for this as they were never publicly revealed, but I do have a lot of recreations here that I had made and I will be showing that. The series is called Avatar 7 Havens and it is radically different than anything we've gotten before. Sometime between the events of The Legend of Korra and this series, something happened that forced Korra to quote-unquote destroy the world. Now the remaining population of people live in 7 different cities called havens. They live in these havens because they are literal safe havens from the post-apocalyptic wasteland that lies outside of them. And the wastelands are so bad that there's a military draft system in place to where anyone with bending is forced to join to fight against the storms it produces. The series follows twin avatars. Yes, twins. They are both the Avatar, and their names are Pavi and Nisha. Both girls have cat-like animal companions named Geet and Rui. The girls' names, cats, and outfits all heavily hint at a dark/light avatar thing going on here. Pavi wears light colors, Nisha wears dark colors. Pavi's name means sacred, holy, and pure. Nisha's name means night and darkness. Pavi's cat is white and gray. Nisha's is black and gray. I made a whole video going over the explanation for why this does work and does fit within the lore. Go watch that video after this if you want that explanation. This chart does confirm that this series is coming out sometime after the Aang movie. We don't know how long after the Aang movie this will be released, but I imagine it'll closely follow it, as that seems to be Paramount's thing. But what we do know about this series is that it'll run for 24 episodes. This gives me hope that this series will be airing weekly all the way up until the next movie, but that's not confirmed, that's just speculation on my part. Here's where things get extremely interesting to me. The fourth spot on this list is another theatrical release with concept art of Aang. Now, yes, I know, originally Avatar Studios' plan was to make 3 separate movies in the Avatar world, but now, at least according to this, it's looking like we'll be getting a trilogy of Aang movies. I do want to stress to take this with a small grain of salt, because I guess there is a chance whoever made this just used whatever concept art lying around from the first movie to vaguely represent the others, but I don't think so, because Aang looks a different age in the next piece of concept art and is wearing a completely different outfit. And another reason why I think they changed it to be a trilogy is because trilogies are pretty hot right now. Paramount just had a ton of success with their Sonic trilogy. As you can see in this image, we have a back shot of adult Aang who has Wreck-It Ralph hands. Like, oh my god, look at the size of his hands. Aang seems to be walking towards some sort of doors that have been overtaken by plants. My personal theory is that this is Aang visiting one of the old air temples. We know from the Legacy book that Aang spent a lot of time restoring the air temples, so maybe they're touching upon that in the second movie, or it'll be some sort of plot point. Obviously, if it's done well, it'll be good. That goes for everything, but I do think this is kind of a weird thing to include in a movie. Following this movie will be another series, this time with an airbending symbol on it. Obviously, there isn't a ton to go off of here besides us knowing it's probably a series about an airbender. Now, I don't know if you guys remember, but back in 2023, there were talks about a kids show premiering after the second movie, which I guess this could be it. I'm really hoping it's not though. I mean, come on, if you were gonna have an airbender series, I just feel like Avatar The First Airbender is so free. You make a series about the second ever Avatar who's an airbender, that's a guaranteed hit. But knowing Paramount, it's probably going to be the kids show. The second movie in series are likely going to be coming out in 2027, which now leads us all the way into 2028, starting off with another piece of concept art of adult Aang, likely marking the completion of the trilogy. Once again, Aang having massive hands for no reason. Aang's design is actually a lot different here, sporting black boots and black wrist straps, rather than his original brown boots and orange wrist straps. Despite having a lot of black on his outfits, his colors are actually a lot more vibrant than what we're used to, so I'm liking it. Obviously, I have no idea what this movie could be about. We don't even know what the first movie is going to be about. The final thing listed here is the fire emblem with the words under it, new content. Now, this had a lot of people confused, but I think I know exactly what this is, and it's already been announced. This is most likely the AAA RPG set 7,000 years ago about a firebending avatar. And this right here is the concept art that Avatar Studios officially released. And the game is titled Avatar Ice Wars and was said to either come out 2027 or 2028, which if it's 2028, that lines up pretty perfectly. And it shows that they're viewing this game as a major part of the franchise since it's listed here. All of this is quite the setup. They're expanding the franchise in every direction. They're going into the past, the present, and the future. It's honestly pretty impressive that they're doing all of this at once, and I hope the 5-year wait is going to be worth it.